When Henry Carmichael died suddenly at 71, it shocked his family and friends. He had always seemed so full of life, an easy laugh, a strong handshake, a sharp memory that recalled stories from decades ago. He still did his own yard work and even played tennis with his grandson last spring. But one quiet morning in June, his heart gave out. No warning, no time for goodbyes. His daughter Anna stood in his kitchen the day after the funeral, surrounded by unopened bills, vitamin bottles, and the familiar hum of the refrigerator. He was fine, she kept repeating, to no one in particular. He was fine. But the truth unraveled slowly. As she went through his home and medical papers, she began to see the signs, subtle, overlooked, and quietly dangerous. A visit to his doctor the previous winter noted elevated blood pressure. A prescription for statins had gone unfilled. Anna found fast food receipts in the glove box of his car and a box of whiskey hidden behind the garden shed. Later that week, she met with Dr. Ramos, her father's longtime physician. He sighed heavily and pointed to Henry's chart. There were a few things I wish he'd taken more seriously. They weren't emergencies at the time, but combined, they added up. He named 6 common habits people in their 70s often overlook, habits that, in Henry's case, may have contributed to his early passing. Anna took notes, determined not to follow the same path. 1. Ignoring subtle health symptoms. He told me he got dizzy sometimes, Anna recalled, but he just said it was age. Dr. Ramos nodded. That's exactly the problem. Many people over 70 downplay new symptoms. Dizziness, chest tightness, shortness of breath, they shrug it off. But those could be signs of cardiovascular trouble, neurological issues, or balance disorders that could lead to a fall. Henry mentioned lightheadedness during his last checkup. I urged him to get tests. He never followed through. Ignoring subtle symptoms can delay crucial diagnoses. At that age, the body doesn't always scream, it whispers. And if you're not listening, you miss your chance to act. 2. Skipping medical follow-ups. Henry had been prescribed medication for cholesterol, and his blood pressure had crept higher over the past year. Yet Anna found the bottles unopened. He said he didn't want to be on pills for the rest of his life. He didn't have to be, Dr. Ramos said. But we needed a plan. Follow-ups, check-ins, maybe lifestyle adjustments. Instead, he ghosted his own health. In your 70s, regular appointments aren't optional. They're a lifeline. Early detection of problems like atrial fibrillation, cancer, or kidney disease can mean the difference between a manageable condition and a fatal one. Not 3. Poor sleep habits. Anna knew her father had trouble sleeping. He often sent emails at 2 a.m. and liked to sleep in late. He blamed his insomnia on boredom or aches and pains, but he never took it seriously. He was probably getting 4 to 5 hours a night, Dr. Ramos said. At his age, that kind of chronic sleep deprivation can increase the risk of heart disease, stroke, depression, and even cognitive decline. Good sleep is restorative and essential. Disrupted sleep in your 70s is not just annoying, it's dangerous. Many underestimate its role in long-term health. 4. Sedentary lifestyle. Though Henry still did yard work, most of his days were spent sitting. After retiring, he stopped walking daily and rarely exercised. He often joked, "At my age, I've earned the right to sit down." But sitting, Dr. Ramos explained, was the new smoking. Long periods of inactivity weaken the heart, stiffen the joints, slow metabolism, and increase risk of blood clots. Even 20 minutes of walking a day could have made a difference. Movement keeps everything flowing, blood, mood, digestion, he said. Once you stop moving, everything else starts shutting down. 5. Poor diet choices. Fast food wrappers, soda cans, a freezer full of microwave meals. Henry wasn't cooking anymore. He claimed it was easier to eat out, and at this age, who cares? But Dr. Ramos pointed out that diets high in sodium, processed fats, and sugar wreak havoc on aging arteries and organs. It's not about dieting, he said. It's about keeping inflammation down, blood pressure stable, and energy up. Simple meals, vegetables, lean proteins, whole grains could have helped reduce his risk of stroke and heart attack. 6. Isolation and loneliness. Finally, Anna admitted something that pained her to say. Her father was lonely. Since her mother died, he'd pulled back. He said he was fine, but his phone history showed fewer and fewer outgoing calls. He didn't join the community groups Anna suggested. He stopped going to church. Loneliness increases mortality risk almost as much as smoking, Dr. Ramos said. It's not just emotional. It affects blood pressure, immune function, even memory. In his final months, Henry had become increasingly isolated, even if no one noticed. Isolation starves the brain of stimulation and the heart of connection. It quietly drains the will to thrive. Anna left the clinic with her father's folder under her arm, feeling like she'd learned too much too late. But she also carried resolve. At 47, she was young enough to shift her own habits and old enough to warn others. She shared her father's story at his memorial, not to shame him, but to honor him. My dad taught me how to live with joy, she said to the gathered crowd, but I also want to learn from the things he didn't take seriously. If you're over 70 or love someone who is, don't ignore the little signs. Don't wait until something breaks. Take the walk, get the checkup, make the call, choose the salad, go to bed early. It all matters. Henry Carmichael didn't die because of one mistake. He died because 6 small, quiet risks slowly caught up with him. But his story and the lessons left behind became a guide for others to live with more intention, more connection, and a better shot at the years still ahead.